Hello everyone, and welcome to Gander Gardening with Dawn. It's now in the second week of January, and it's definitely winter here in my 5A garden. And so since it's winter, it's a good time to do some winter sowing, and that's what this video is about. I'm going to share with you how I go about winter sowing, the seeds that I like to sow, and some successes that I've had in the past. And I will also explain the mystery of why there is colored yarn tied to the top of this jug. So if you're interested in learning about winter sowing, check this out. Well, it feels good to be back indoors, I must admit. So this is a video about winter sowing. And winter sowing is quite simply a method where you plant your seeds in soil inside a plastic container of some sort that is transparent, and you put them outside in the winter and you leave them there to germinate when nature intended. So the containers that I like to use are these water bottles that we have here locally, and they are very, very strong plastic. They're very clear, and I simply cut around the center, leaving a little bit to make a hinge, as you see, and I cut holes in the bottom. I have 5 pretty large holes in the bottom of this one, and once you do that, you simply put soil inside, and I just use any type of potting soil, usually whatever is the cheapest and is on sale. And I put in about 3 or 4 inches, and then you plant your seeds the exact same way as you would plant them if you were planting them outdoors. You then put back the top like this, and you tape around the tape. I just use regular clear packing tape. I use that sort of tape because I think it allows for as much light to get in as possible. Then you put them outside, somewhere where hopefully they don't blow away, and somewhere where they will get snowed on and rained on. You take the top off, very, very important, and you leave it off. You do not leave that on, because this is how the plants will get ventilation and how they will get moisture through the winter. You can also put lots of holes if you want in the top for added circulation and for added moisture. I don't tend to do that here because we get lots of rain and snow over the winter, and I've never had a problem with any of these drying out. And why is there yarn at the top? I have found this is the easiest way for me to label mine. Instead of writing on the bottle or putting a tag inside, I just simply tie little bits of colored yarn, different colors for each bottle. And I just make a little note in my garden journal. I keep a garden journal from year to year, and so that way I know what I planted in each bottle. So you may be wondering, why in the world would you do this? Well, there are 2 main reasons to do this process. The first one is it's a great way to get seeds to germinate that are very difficult to germinate indoors. Because some seeds, they need a period of cold and warm alternating to break the seed coat. Some seeds need to have a period of cold and then followed by a period of warm before they are going to start to grow. So if seeds are difficult to grow inside, to get them started inside, one thing that sometimes works is winter sowing. And so that's worth a try. And another reason, the second main reason that I use winter sowing is to start seeds outdoors where they don't take up any space. I don't have a whole lot of space indoors to start my seeds. I do have a couple of grow lights, but so seeds for either perennials or biennials that would not bloom in the first year anyway. So it doesn't really matter if they germinate a little later. These will definitely be a little later than any seeds that I start indoors. So biennials or perennials that I would like to grow that are not going to bloom in the first season in any case. So I have been doing winter sowing for about, I think this is my 6th year doing this process. And in the first year, I planted a lot of seeds by this method just to see what would work and what wouldn't work. And a lot of plants really grew well. I know I had great success with some pansies. I had great success with some different foxgloves and things like that. It, really worked quite well. But what really amazed me was that some seeds that I had a difficult time to try to get them started indoors, they actually worked outside. And 2 of these, the first one, and I have some seeds here, and you will notice that these packs are not packs that I bought from any seed source. These packs are seeds that I gathered from my own garden. And this one is Himalayan Blue Poppy. It's Meconopsis baileyii, which I started in 2020 by the winter sowing method, and they grew. They were incredibly tiny plants that didn't even germinate until June. And I didn't put them out in my garden until I think it was around the end of July. And they were still very, very small plants. But the amazing thing was they actually did germinate and they grew. And believe it or not, these are now seeds from my own Himalayan Blue Poppies. So I'm definitely going to try to grow some of those again by the winter sowing method this year. Another seed that I had a difficult time with getting it started indoors or transplanting it to the garden was amazing gray poppies. And poppies are a distant relative of blue poppies, which are actually Meconopsis, but you can see that they have a lot of similarities. And amazing gray poppies are a very beautiful, soft, lilac-y gray color, and they're quite lovely. And I wanted them in my garden, I didn't have any success, so I thought, why not try winter sowing? And it worked really well. So again, I don't buy them now. I just save a few seeds from my own plants and plant them out the following year. Now, another one that I start by winter sowing is a perennial. This is a perennial that, it's a short-lived perennial. It lives for about 3 or 4 years in my garden, but it's very, very pretty. And it's very easy to start by the winter sowing method, and that is Barlow mix columbine. And you can see the seeds on the back here. These seeds are a lot larger. The 2 first plants that I talked about, the seeds are very tiny. They are about the size of a foxglove seed or a snapdragon seed, if you're familiar with those. They're not very big. But the Barlow mix columbine are a nice size seed and easy to gather, and they are very easy to start by winter sowing. And so that's what I do now, because these, even if I started them early indoors, personally, I haven't had success with getting them to bloom in the first season. But even with them starting by the winter sowing method, by season 2, they will be in bloom. And similarly, this is Rose Campion. This is a biennial. This one will not bloom in the first season in any case. So why not save that indoor space that I have and put these in a jug, stick them outside, wait till spring, and then they will germinate without any help from me whatsoever. And even if I babied them and grew them inside and planted out large plants the first summer, they still wouldn't bloom until season 2 anyway, because they're biennial. So another great candidate to start by winter sowing. So that's how I winter sow. In the beginning, I used to winter sow lots and lots of seeds, but now I really stick to seeds that I find work best by that method, because here where I live in Newfoundland, spring comes pretty late. And so in our case, the germination by the winter sowing method won't start until June generally. You may get a little hint of growth in the jugs in May, but usually it's June. And so I plant them out in my garden in late June or early July. Now, I will say the amazing gray poppies, they grow very quickly and they bloom, and I enjoy them through late July and August and September. And the others, I have to wait until the next year. And so, that's something to keep in mind. This method definitely doesn't bring you early blooms, but it will bring you very strong, very healthy blooms, and it will eventually, sometimes it might be year 2, and it will also be a great way to start seeds that you can't get started by other methods. So I hope you found something interesting and useful with this video today. I really appreciate you taking the time to view it. Thank you, and have a great one.